It is my privilege to introduce Steve um, Mickelson. How dare I forget his name since I have the same name? But Steve has something that everybody else here probably doesn't have. He holds what's called, I call a wild card. He has a security clearance. And one day that came up in our conversation, and maybe that's part of his story. But Steve, you've been in one of these before? You're the new expert. You just landed. Oh, wait, you landed multiple job offers. You need to tell them about that. So we're going to hear from Steve. And I realize that both Brett and Angela, you might get to ask questions, but you also might bounce off for an interview. So, Steve, it's all you. Thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. Yeah, so this has been great. I feel really blessed. I I had interviewed with I'm trying to remember uh quite a few. I think I had maybe five or six interviews, and uh so it came down to two jobs. I actually had I was it was kind of a weird situation. I was hired on to a local college here in town, and I just worked for about a week and a half, and they were great. I really enjoyed what they do, and they provide a lot of value. It wasn't a very high paying job, and then I had interviewed with some other companies, and they were really good offers. And those jobs, what makes them different from this other one is that I used my security clearance to get it. So that's extremely. I didn't realize how valuable it was until I started applying to jobs, but they're in high demand. So I actually had three different. Actually, I didn't tell you this, Steve. I guess I could make it four. I have had four offers. There was one, and I have to really seriously consider whether I want to do this, but there was one in North Carolina that called. It basically came down to me and another candidate, and the other candidate had cold feet and didn't want to relocate. So they're extending me the offer. It is a good paying job, but I don't know that it's exactly what I want to do. It doesn't give me the freedom and the creativity that the other jobs do. So I'll have to just think about it. But basically, last week, it came down to two jobs. There was one in Virginia, and it was a job working for the FBI. Um, and I'm an instructional designer, so it's providing training for employees at these locations. The other one was a job. The one that I accepted is a job in Alabama. It's in Huntsville, and it's a company that provides services and training. I provide part of a team that provides training for the military. Specifically, what I would start out in is uh, training modules for the Navy. They do a lot of it's pretty interesting. They do a lot of interactivity, a lot of uh, they have a team of 3D artists, so they use a lot of 3D art, and they do virtual trainings as well. So it sounds really exciting. But it was a really difficult decision because the other job was there was a lot of good things about it. I had to basically put together a pros and cons list, and it sort of it just came down to what I felt like I would be more comfortable, the role I would be performing in the job, uh, and the location. There's a lot of other things to consider, but I was really grateful for the opportunity. And I'm really grateful that I had that security clearance. I can emphasize enough how valuable that's been. But yeah, so it's been a really good week. I'm really grateful that I've had these opportunities, and that I had the ability to kind of pick and choose which ones I wanted.
Okay. Um, any highs and lows in your job search you want to share?
Um, it's just I mean, I don't want to. It's been good. I mean, I can't complain. The challenge and it sounds I feel kind of guilty saying this. I mean, the challenge was trying to pick which job was a better fit for me. I mean, I'm just grateful that I've had these offers and that I have the opportunity to do that. But and I don't know if I'd really call them lows. It was just sort of a challenge to pick which one I wanted more.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put people on here. So let me bring the gallery up here. I'm gonna put two people that are going to be leaving us quickly. And if they have a few minutes, I'll start with ladies first. Angela, do you have any questions for for Steve?
You caught me off guard. I'm sorry. Um, no, I can't think of any right this second. I'll probably come up with something, but congratulations. That's exciting. Actually, did you get your security clearance with a previous job, or was it something that
Yeah.
you obtained independently?
Yeah, it came early on in my career with my previous job. I there was a need and it is, I mean, they're valuable because they're hard. It's a process. It takes a long time to get cleared and it takes a lot of time and money on the government's end to get you cleared. So, that's why if they can find somebody that they need for a job and you have that clearance, then that saves them a lot of time and money. So, but yeah, I got my clearance three, probably 3 years into my job, and I've held on to it for, I don't know, 16, 17 years. So I've had it a long time.
Okay. Thanks, Angela. Um, Brett, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Do you have any questions?
Um, Question I had is, so while you were, and I know you kind of alluded this a little bit, but while you were deciding between the two or the multiple offers you had, what factors kind of were the biggest in determining where to go? Was it pay? Was it lifestyle? Was it
Um, yeah,
roles?
really, it's a combination of everything. Um, between those two jobs, they were pretty equal. They're pretty equivalent. And the freedom and the flexibility I would have had in Virginia was like the biggest factor. Like that was really drawing me in. But there are some really awesome things that this other job provides. I really it really the thing about it is the job in Virginia had a higher salary, but the cost of living there is so much
Mm.
more expensive than in Alabama. I mean, I went through it. Analyzed and analyzed and overanalyzed it. I went through a budget, and basically, what I came up with was they would be at the end after all my expenses, my disposable income would have been pretty close to the same. So I really it came down to, I had to look at the job really closely, and I think they were both fantastic, but I also had to look at the area that I'd be living in. Uh, you know, one of one of the factors was like crime rates, and then commute times, and it just sort of seemed to be a lot more favorable in Alabama. It just seemed like a better community to live in. Not that the other was bad, but those are some things that I really had to consider in the end. And then there are also things like what they offered, benefits, paid time off. They had a better package in with the job in Alabama. But I mean, they were both great. So I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but they're both fantastic, and that's what it came down to. And it was really hard. It took me several days, like about a week, to really decide what I wanted.
Well, it sounds like you had some good options to choose from, which is good. Congratulations.
Thanks. What did you say? Was there another question? I didn't hear that.
No, 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 that was it. I just said
Oh, okay.
congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Next up is Carl.
So I just want to say that I had a security clearance to my previous job, and they chose not to renew it,
Oh,
and
I'm
now I'm
sorry.
sad.
Yeah, I know. It's
Because as Steve and I talked, that really was. He told me that if it was current, that would open up a lot more doors. So I'm glad that you had yours, and obviously it did work.
yeah,
But the reason was because I wasn't using it enough to justify the cost. So,
right.
like you
Okay.
said, it's quite expensive. So for the
Yeah, right.
initial
Yeah,
and the
mine.
re-up.
Yeah, mine. If I didn't use it, it'll there's I can it's active for another 2 years. Um, but
Hey, got you in the door.
yeah, yeah. One thing about it is it usually, typically though, when you look for clearance jobs, uh, you're gonna have to, if you're willing to relocate, then it's great. You'll get offers, and but it if you're preferring to just stay home locally or work remotely, you're probably not gonna get a
Right.
job. So
So and then I've done a lot of work in Alabama with the locations we have there, and they're great people. So you'll do fine.
okay, great, yeah, yeah. I've heard good things about it. So
All
oh
right.
yeah, and then the other thing that was nice about this job is they were willing to let me work remotely for the next 2 months while I sell my house.
Ah,
So
perfect.
that was another incentive.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is right in the middle of a glass of something. Mikey.
Water. I had 3 Cokes yesterday, and I need a clean out.
Well, I don't know. There are other clear liquids people could drink, but I would think you wouldn't be this early drinking that, and I don't think you drink it anyway. Although Mountain Dew could be clear.
I come from a long line of alcoholics, so and drug addicts and people who self-medicated for mental illness. So I have to be careful, but I'm glad I am. So anyway, Steve, congratulations. That's so exciting. Great news. I was going to ask if you're remote or relocating, but you've already answered my question. So, um, what for those of us who don't have security clearances, what's the smartest thing that you think we should be doing? And if you're feeling gutsy enough, what's a mistake you think we should avoid?
Um, yeah, that's a good question. I I'm trying to think what I guess there's probably stuff that we've already talked about here, and Steve's probably I'm sure I know he's already discussed it, but for me, I think it's a lot of it is your is who you know, your networking. If you can network with the right people, that helps get you in the door. I think my previous employment certainly helped. I had a lot of references that I used, really good references. They put in a good word for me. It was, I was able to depart on a high note. We left on really good terms. It was very amicable with my employer, and I had a good relationship with the people that I worked with. So that helps.
And on the mistake side, anything that we should
Uh,
particularly avoid? Anything that any
for me,
painful
I mean,
lessons?
I think everyone knows this is just trying to be prepared for interviews. I mean, that was my challenge. I don't like interviews. I don't think anyone really does, but just trying to prepare yourself as much as you can. I use ChatGPT to do some mock interviews, and then I got really good advice from Steve. It's just like, you can prepare yourself and give the answers they want, but what they really want is to know, what you did in your previous roles. They want to know what your experience is to apply. They ask you a question, and you can refer to experiences you had, how you were successful in performing your job at doing certain tasks, and just knowing that, just helping them know that you know how to perform a job, and then if you can provide some quantitative data to back up that information.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. Next up is um Travis. Are you there, Travis?
And I am. I honestly don't have any questions.
Wait a sec, wait a sec.
Congratulations, Steve.
Everybody stop the reel here. You don't have a question? Just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time.
The quiet guy with no questions, imagine that. But no, kudos. We're really, really happy for you. It's a slog, and I'm glad to see other people getting what they deserve.
Yeah.
So awesome,
Yeah.
man. Congrats.
Thanks, Travis. Next up is Jason Green.
Well, congratulations too. And just like Mike said, I was going to ask you if you were going to be relocating. Um, what did you do here? And without getting too
Yeah.
detailed that you can, that you needed a clearance.
Yeah. That's fine. I can answer that. So I just worked. Are you from Utah?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the area. So I work for a company that is owned by Utah State University. It's its own entity, and they're
Oh,
completely.
Space Labs,
Yeah, Space
Space Time.
Dynamics Laboratory. So, a great organization, and I was really grateful for all the years I worked there. But they a lot of the customers are primarily either with NASA or with the DoD or the military, and that's where the security clearance came in. So, it's if you're there long enough, it's almost impossible not to be involved with or have some sort of a security clearance. Um, and I worked on lots of programs where I was able to use that. Uh, and I'm sorry, I can't remember. What was your question about it?
Well,
Or
just
what
how
I
you were
did?
how are
Oh,
you using that clearance
yeah,
here?
yeah. So a lot of the programs that I worked on, there was a mix of unclass and classified, and the trainings I provided were on both sides, and even the unclassed side, it was sensitive information, so I had to be careful how it was distributed. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of programs, and I was also a technical writer, and I did some graphic design work as well. So with that, you just have to you have to make sure that you have proper trainings. They have trainings annually every year, and make sure that you're that you understand everything, and you takes some courses to stay up to date on everything. But I would go over there, and of course you have to be aware and very careful when you walk into those buildings. You put any electronic devices in a locker before you walk into the building. If you do, there's infractions, and that's a serious those are serious violations that they take serious because if there are multiple infractions that affects their confidence, the level of confidence in the organization. And we got in trouble a few times
Really?
in regards to that. So they really tightened the security and making sure that we were aware and making sure we didn't do those kinds of things. So just things like that. But when you go into those secure areas, you just you have to there's a number of checkpoints you have to go through to enter a certain facility. Um, you have to there are a lot of restrictions and there are like uh, all protocols and things that we have to maintain and in order to log into uh, restricted areas, we have to there are like those we have tokens that we have to use what do they call them? Anyway, there are a lot of security checkpoints that we have to go through, and a
Right.
lot of red tape. So, but yeah, it's just but that's the nature of the work. So, and we have to be careful what is transferred over, and they designate a data transfer officer to move data over from one system to another. In fact, I had that role before I left. So, there were a team of engineers that always needed data transferred from one point to another, or if it was the customer, I was the one that was responsible for transferring that data, and it was a process to go through it. it wasn't just an easy one and done. You just transfer that information. It took several steps. It's always more work than you think it is when you're in a secure environment. So
So I know Huntsville is involved with a lot of rocketry stuff, and
yeah.
is that part of what you'd be doing?
Well, I'm not really sure about on the rocket side on the space. They may be involved. All I know is that what they need me for, at least for this job, just to start off with, is some trainings that they're trying to revise for the Navy,
Hmm.
and and they will have work for me on the high side, on the secure side. I don't know what that will be, but that's part of the reason why they wanted me. And
Right.
this job isn't as high up. It's not as I don't know, like with the obviously with the FBI, it required a TSSCI clearance, a high, which is a I don't know if you know if you're familiar with that, but
Top secret
so
something, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So it's pretty and then I had to go I had to get my background cleared for that job, and I felt bad because then I ended up taking the other job, but yeah, but it's not quite as my level of security isn't as high, or it's not as involved with the one in Alabama, but and it's nice. The other nice thing about that job is that they're going to allow me to. It's a hybrid job, so I can work from home for a couple days a week, and then I go into the office for the other 3 days. So.
Now,
Um,
did you fly out there for interviews? Have you seen
No, they're
Huntsville yet?
all of these security. It was nice. I mean, I think they understand a lot of these all these interviews that I had over the with the clearance jobs were over the phone, so they were phone
Yeah, I'm
interviews.
just wondering if you've seen what the town's like, and
Oh no, I would really like to. I wish I had the time to do it.
yeah,
We haven't had the ability to do that.
but you got the
That would
two
have been
months
nice.
that you can start studying that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, congratulations again.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Next up is Arian.
Hey, congrats, Steve.
Thank you.
I was gonna ask, have you like relocated a lot in the past for jobs?
No, no, I've been really fortunate that way. I actually started my after I graduated. This goes way back, but after I graduated from college at Utah State, I graduated with a degree in technical writing, and that's where I started out. I had a couple of jobs. We were, I was young. We had my daughter was just a baby at the time, but we just I got a job down in Arizona, and it was a startup company. Didn't last very long. They laid off a bunch of people after just starting, and then I was up in Idaho Falls for a little while. And then I wound up back in Logan, working for my comp or my family's business. And it was more like I was doing web web design for our company's website. I got really excited about that. I was like, this is really cool. And then that was when the housing market went crazy, and we didn't survive that, and so the company didn't last too long. And then SDL, and they had I started looking for some jobs, and then SDL had a posting for it was for a technical writer, but what they were looking for specifically is they wanted somebody with sort of a mix of design skills and then writing skills, the technical side of it. So I showed them I had that in my resume, and then I showed them some of the things that I'd done, and they liked that combination of the combination of skills. So so I got hired on, and I started providing trainings. It was computer-based trainings. And then it's just so I started doing that for our customer. It was for the military. We had just like they had a PDF. It was just sort of a traditional manual, and they wanted it to be more interactive, and so I just built it out into a computer-based training, and And then over the years, it just evolved, and then I had better tools to work with, authoring tools, and then I just started it from beginning, from start to finish, and added more things, and it got better and better over time. But the nice thing about SDL is they also they allowed me to go back to school, and they paid for it, so I was able to get a master's degree in instructional technology at Utah State, um, and then, but no, I was at SDL for about 19 years, so I've been there a long time. Yeah. And so I haven't had to move until now.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Arian, any other questions?
Oh, not for me, no.
Okay. Um, Next up is somebody brand new. Kevin, can you hear us? I know you had trouble with your sound there for a minute.
Yeah, I can now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for Steve?
No, congratulations. I am
Thank
still
you.
trying to figure out what all this is and how this whole thing works. So thanks for Steve for letting me come and join. But no, for now, I don't.
Okay. All right. All right. Steve, I got a lot out of that. My biggest one is use your network, use your skills. I'm really glad that you that all of a sudden I asked you about your security clearance,
Yeah.
and that it paid off. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom for everybody other than what you just shared?
Uh, just some of the things I mentioned. Again, it's just persistence. I know I wasn't out there long, but I know that that's an integral part of looking for a job is just sometimes it's really discouraging, but I'd say just being really persistent, keep working hard, set goals, and just find ways that you can separate yourself from the competition. And I think a lot of the things that you told me as far as like when you get into an interview was really key and really helpful, and just just make it relatable. Use your draw on your experience, your past experiences, your successes, and use that to your advantage when you're speaking to recruiters.
Okay. Thank you. And this is Steve Mickelson, who had multiple job offers. Thank you for coming today and sharing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Good
All right.
luck to everybody.